Good morning. Welcome to Market Day Report. I'm Tony St. James, and we get the morning rolling by looking at the markets and some overnight action. We also have an export sales report out. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, the corn market and trade overnight in the red. December off 2 3/4 cents, 4.29 3/4, and the March down also 2 3/4 cents, 4.47 1/4. Soybeans, double-digit losses overnight. November at 10.44 1/4. That down 11 3/4. Same loss there on the January to 10.62 1/2. What about the wheat market? We saw it up like a rocket in the session yesterday, but giving back a few of the gains. Not all of it, though. December, Chicago, 6.11 3/4, down 3 1/2. July, 6.50 3/4, down 4 cents, and just one tick off of the day's low. And hard red winter wheat, 4 1/4 lower on the December at 6.15, while July settled 4 lower, 6.46. In Minneapolis, 2 1/4 lower on the D's at 6.46 3/4. And that was a penny off the day's low. Cotton market in New York, it settled in the red, 72.58, down 82. Well, let's bring in Brian Hoops. Brian is President, Midwest Market Solutions. All right, export sales out.
Good morning, Tony. Yeah, they came out and they were pretty decent numbers overall. We saw corn be, right around 50 or 66 million bushels. Mexico was the biggest buyer by far of that. They bought over 21 million bushels. As far as soybeans go, good numbers there as well. 53 million bushels of soybeans. China, as you can imagine, was the best buyer, almost 27 million of the total, and wheat sales of 16 million bushels. Now, the markets have digested those numbers and traded them into the 745 close, and we were looking at private export sale announcements, or at least the news wires, to see if there was any, and there was not again this morning. So we didn't have any sales yesterday and didn't have any sales again this morning. So what it comes down to, I think, on the reopening at 8:30, same thing we've been talking about for 2 weeks. At 8:30, somebody has been just aggressively buying the markets. Yesterday, we talked about that being a key. Soybeans opened like around 10:45, almost similar to where they're going to open again this morning. And then they rallied throughout the day up into the 10:55 range. We'll see if they come in and they buy this soybean market again, if they buy corn after a couple cent lower trade, and see if there is some demand. So that's really the key, is at some point maybe this buying interest will start to fade, because the fundamentals maybe are telling us that we're going to increase yields next week in the supply and demand report. Weather forecast out of South America, it's looking really wet into mid-October for all of Brazil. It's going to be massive amounts of rain. The monsoonal season looks to be approaching, so they're going to alleviate a lot of their dryness concerns. And so we're wondering what are we going to have bullish next week, fundamentally news-wise, to hang our hat on to keep pushing prices higher. So at some point, I think we trade lower. It just hasn't happened yet because the technicals are so bullish.
Now, one thing that is not bullish, when I looked at the export numbers, soy oil, that was pretty disappointing looking at what USDA rolled out for us.
Yeah, that was a number that's been disappointment, and it has kind of been almost all year. Soybean meal sales have been strong. I should mention, too, that wheat has been rallying on concerns about dryness in Russia, Black Sea wheat region. And overnight, Reuters is reporting that Egypt has signed a unprecedented purchase agreement to buy over 510,000 metric tons of wheat out of the Black Sea every month from November through April. And I think that's going to kind of shut the door on some of this ideas that the U.S. was going to get some of this export business because Russia and some of those areas were so dry. So maybe that could be possible later on, but it looks like right now they've made that agreement to sell a lot of wheat, at least through the month of April.
So we've been talking export sales, and normally we talk export sales in row crop, but we also get them for livestock. And there's a marketing year high in cattle or hogs. Hang around, we'll talk about it as Market Day Report continues in a moment. Market Day Report. Welcome to a Thursday. Well, a normal Thursday, which this is, means that we get export sales numbers from USDA. We'll talk about those in just a moment. Let's look at how the market closed yesterday. Live cattle, $295 higher, $187.42 on the October, and the December at $187.70 up $252. For the feeders, on Wednesday, $249.72 on the October, up $357, $387 higher on the November at $248.55. Texas cash selling at $186 live this week, $188.50 on the grid, but prices, asking prices now up to $187. Again, October feeders up $357, $249.72. $248.55 on the November. That was up $3.87. And the hog market just continues that climb. December $76.75 up to 1,500 weight. Well, I kind of teased it. A marketing year high for export sales on the beef side, but not on the sell side, the actual shipments. Brian Hoops, President, Midwest Market Solutions. That's our little tease there, but it's the actual shipments, because somebody can actually say we're going to buy it, but they have to take delivery at some point.
Yeah, you're right. It was a good tease. I hope everybody came back because of your incentive there. The shipments are what's most important, because that's when we actually send that product off. And it was a marketing year high for beef, as you said, 17.7 million tons. We sold about 22.5. So those numbers are better than what we've been seeing over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Pork sales were also better than what we've been seeing. They were 43.4 million tons with shipments at 25.9. So all those numbers that we saw are good. Now, we may see a slowdown next week because of the pork dock workers strike that's going on. We may see a lot of these, especially pork shipments, start to slow down. So it was good that we saw it this week. As far as cash cattle trade, there hasn't been that much. There's been a little bit at 187. The asking prices are now 188, 189. So we would expect that cash trade to really break loose today or tomorrow in the Southern Plains. We haven't seen anything on a dress basis, but looks like this cash is coming in much, much better than what was expected early in the week. We talked, steady to $1 higher. We're looking at $2 to $3 higher at least in the Southern Plains. It looks like the futures market has rallied, anticipating that yesterday. It's been doing that all week. It's been a very strong cash market, and seems to be leading the futures market higher.
Brian, always good to see you. Come back and see us tomorrow. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions.